Hey Browns fans! Let's get to the latest Browns news, so hit that like button and let's get right to it. Let's start by talking about a tough situation involving one of our rookies. The NFL has just handed down a 5-game suspension to Browns rookie defensive tackle Mike Hall Jr. This comes after an investigation into a violation of the league's personal conduct policy. According to Ian Rappaport, Hall Jr., our 2024 number 2 pick out of Ohio State, was suspended without pay following allegations of domestic violence in August. This is definitely not the start we were hoping for from Hall, especially after such a promising college career. Now, Browns fans, Hall has already been on the commissioner's exempt list since the start of the season, so while this suspension is new, the 4 games he has already missed will count toward his 5-game ban. That means he will be eligible to return after our 5th game, and his first chance to suit up could come in Week 6 when we face the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, our defensive line has been holding up very well. Dalvin Tomlinson and Shelby Harris have been solid so far, combining for 18 tackles and a sack in the first 4 games. Plus, we have veteran Quentin Jefferson, who really stood out with 6 tackles and a sack against the Jaguars. So while Hall's absence will definitely be felt, the D-line hasn't missed a beat. Still, when Hall returns, he'll need to work hard to make up for lost time. He has serious potential, and if he can overcome this rough start, he could be a key piece for us going forward. But only time will tell if he could put his off-field issues behind him and focus on contributing to the team. Now, I want to hear what you think, Browns fans. Should we give Hall Jr. a chance to prove himself after his suspension, or is that too much baggage for a young player? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now we have some major trade rumors swirling around the Browns. Word is we could be asking about none other than Davante Adams, the Raiders' superstar receiver who just requested a trade. That's right, Browns fans, Adams could be on the move, and the Browns could be in the running to bring him to Cleveland. But that's not all. DeAndre Hopkins, who has history with Deshaun Watson from their Houston days, is also being rumored to be on the trade block. You know Watson's chemistry with Hopkins is off the charts, and they've made magic happen before. Could they reunite in Cleveland? Now, we also have to talk about Amari Cooper. Cooper has been rumored to be on the Chiefs' radar, with reports from ESPN's Adam Schefter and others suggesting Kansas City could be interested in him. But how does that fit into all of these Adams and Hopkins rumors? Let's break it down. First, Davante Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the league. The 6-time Pro Bowler has been shining since joining the Raiders in 2022. But after a hamstring injury last week and some behind-the-scenes drama, it appears he's ready to move on. The Raiders are reportedly seeking a 2nd-round pick in exchange for him, and they're looking to make a deal before the November 5th trade deadline. But here's the catch. Adams has a lot of money to pay, $13.5 million this season and big numbers through 2026, though the final 2 years are non-guaranteed. If the Browns want to bring Adams to Cleveland, they'll need to restructure his deal, and it wouldn't be cheap. Then there's DeAndre Hopkins. Browns fans, you know how dangerous he was with Watson back in Houston. They were unstoppable, with Hopkins racking up monster touchdowns and yards year after year. Now, with the Titans struggling at 1-3, Hopkins could be available. And guess what? Watson has been outspoken about wanting Hopkins in Cleveland before. He said it himself last year, Hopkins would love to be somewhere with a chance to win, and we fit all those criteria. Could we see Watson and Hopkins back together, throwing bombs and making highlight videos? It's possible, especially if the Browns are looking to shake things up. But what does all this mean for Amari Cooper? Well, Cooper has been our number 1 guy, but his name has come up in trade talks. He skipped the offseason but had his $20 million salary guaranteed before training camp. He has an additional $5 million in incentives, but no long-term extension yet. And despite the guaranteed money, the Browns were still trying to negotiate with 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk during camp, which sparked some rumors that Cooper was on the move. Would the Browns trade Cooper to make room for Adams or Hopkins? It's a possibility, especially with Kansas City reportedly interested in adding another point guard for Patrick Mahomes. Cooper has had a spotty start to the season. He struggled early, dropping 2 potential TD passes in the first 2 games, but then bounced back with a strong performance against the Giants. However, his numbers dipped against the Raiders, where an 82-yard TD reception was nullified by a penalty. That play would have been a game-changer, but instead, Cooper has been dealing with the frustration of missed opportunities. So, Browns fans, here's the question. Should the Browns make a move for Adams or Hopkins, and if so, would that mean the end of Cooper's time in Cleveland? Or do we stick with Cooper as our number one guy and trust him to find his groove as the season progresses? We're 1-3 right now, so any move could make or break our playoff chances. If we want to change things up, adding a weapon like Adams or reuniting Watson with Hopkins could be the spark we need. But at what cost? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Should we go all in on Adams or Hopkins, or is it too risky to mess with the chemistry we already have? And would you be willing to see Cooper traded if it meant getting another star receiver? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's talk about a bit of hope amid a rocky 1-3 start for the Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb's long-awaited return to practice. As you all know, our star running back has been sidelined all season due to the devastating knee injury he suffered last year against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This season, the Browns' running game has really felt his absence, averaging just 94.8 yards per game. This is a stark reminder of just how crucial Chubb is to our offense. We've heard some promising news recently about Chubb's recovery. While he's not expected to return for Week 5 against the Washington Commanders, reports indicate that he's on track to return to practice soon, which is definitely something we're excited about. Just think back to last season. When healthy, Chubb averaged an impressive 302 carries for 1,525 yards, which ranked third in the league. His ability to carry the ball and create plays has been a game-changer for our offense, allowing us to rely less on the quarterback and more on a solid running game. Chubb's return could be just what we need, especially considering the performance of the current running back duo of Jerome Ford and Dante Foreman. Ford had a decent game last week, showcasing his receiving skills along with some solid rushing yards. However, it wasn't enough to spark the offense. We've seen struggles across the board. Quarterback Deshaun Watson is struggling to find a rhythm, and the offensive line has struggled to provide the protection needed for big plays. So here's the big question. Will Chubb's return be enough to turn the tide for this team? While he's undoubtedly one of the best running backs in the league, we have to consider that the issues we're facing may extend beyond the run game. If our offensive line doesn't step up and give him the space he needs, we may not see the impact we're all hoping for. It's clear that the issues run deeper, and we'll need more than just Chubb to address them. But hey, every improvement counts, and Chubb's presence alone is a huge morale boost. What do you think, Browns fans? Can Chubb cure what ails our offense? Will his return provide the spark we need, or do we need to look at other areas for improvement? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates. Go Browns!